Welcome to Pirkei Avos with Rabeinu Yonah. We are on chapter 2, Mishnah 3. Let us begin. Havu zehirim baroshos. Be careful of rulers, or the government, rulers. She'ein mekarben lo adam elo l'tzarech atzman. They only get close to people when they need them for themselves. Nirim ka'avim b'shas hanasam. When it's to their benefit, the kings, the rulers, they show the people love when it's good for them. Vein amdun lo adam b'shas dachku. But they don't help people in their time of need. So that's the Mishnah. Let's see what Rabeinu Yonah has to say on this Mishnah. Stay away from the government, from the rulers. In the end of the day, they're going to take away all of your money. The king just sounds like saying looks into people. And who knows what they're really up to. They look like your friend when they need something. They speak nicely to you. You show a lovable face. When they see that they can gain something, rulers, they'll be very nice to you. They are not going to be themselves. And they don't help a person when they are in times of need. When it sounds like when the rulers need money, they're not going to have mercy even on a poor person. Right? Any good stuff that you did for the king's not necessarily going to remember. And if he needs money, he's going to do whatever he's got to do. This is the simple reading of the Mishnah. So the simple reading of the Mishnah is that don't get close to kings because they'll be nice to you when they need something, but then when you need something, if you're in a difficult position, they're not going to help you. In fact, if you're in a difficult position and they need money, they're going to be very hard on you and have no mercy on you. Right? You can see, if you read English history, you see many of the kings. I'm sure most of history you'll see this, but just a little familiar with English history. The kings would tax the peasants as much as they could to get whatever they needed. King John comes to mind. And especially the Jews. The Jews would always be the brunt of the taxation with crippling taxes, and then after the Jews were bled dry of all the money, then they were usually expelled, like Edward did in 1290. But this is the simple reading of the Mishnah. Now, but Rabeinu Yonah says is actually a deeper meaning of the Mishnah. He says, V'ima davar kain, if this is really what the Mishnah meant, we would be speaking about what's wrong with kings. God forbid. That's not so. Kings and government, that's how the world exists. They conduct justice. So he says, right, one of the commandments, the 7 commandments, right, the Jewish people have 613 commandments, and the non-Jews have 7 commandments. And one of those 7 commandments that every human being is required to have is to establish courts of justice. So Rabeinu Yonah is saying that the kings and the government serves a very important function to make sure there's justice. Right? We see in certain cities now that they are not pursuing justice so much and being lax. We see people attack people attacking Jews and getting off on bail, and very easy, not to get too political, but very easy sentencing guidelines. And we see what's happening to those cities, to those places. You see what happens to a society when there's no justice. Justice is very important, and that's the job of the king. So it's a very important function of a king or of a government. He says, furthermore, a king, he doesn't have to worry. Another advantage of being the king is the king doesn't have to worry about anyone. He doesn't have to flatter anyone to get what he wants. He can do whatever he wants. He's the king. It's good to be the king. And he's not afraid. Nothing's preventing them from going in the straight path. So he doesn't it sounds like Rabeinu doesn't like the simple reading of this Mishnah. So he's going to tell us a different way to read this Mishnah. He says, really, this Mishnah means that the love or hatred that a king shows is not in his free will. It's not in his hand. A king does not love or hate anyone based on his own free will. What does this mean? When the king shows love to somebody and he's very close to a person, he says that's not because the king decided to do it, that's because Hashem wanted the king to do it. Hashem made it that this specific person would do a benefit for the king, and that's why the king brought him close. And when a person sins to God and he wants to distance him, Who can stop him? Even if the king, someone sinned against Hashem, and even the flesh and blood king would want to do something good for him, he can't. He can only take revenge and rebuke the one that Hashem wants to rebuke. This is what it says. There's a verse in Mishlei. It says in Proverbs, just like a stream of water, so too the heart of a king is in the hand of God. Rotzolor means to say, just like a stream, a stream a person can make go whatever direction he wants. Right? You could dig a channel, you can make a canal. So too Hashem makes the king show favoritism to someone that Hashem wants to reward. Also, on the other hand, Hashem makes the king punish those that have sinned against him. The Amr, and it says, Leiv HaMelech, it says the heart of the king, but it's not talking about other people, regular people. If all the hearts were in the hand of Hashem, he says this is something specific to a king, that even though it looks like a king has free will to do good to somebody or to do bad to somebody, he says really that is all coming from Hashem. Hashem, sounds like from here that there is a certain lack of free will, I guess we'd say, that a king doesn't have versus other human beings. Now, here he's just talking about if the king is doing good to somebody or doing bad to somebody, but it will be an interesting discussion which is beyond the scope. If anyone has any thoughts or ideas, please reach out how much is the free will of a king limited, if it's only talking about this specific case, perhaps more cases, and that's an interesting topic. Okay, and with that we will finish here for today. Have a beautiful day.